Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we're going to be talking about Guillermo Del Toro's newest film, Frankenstein. So let's get into it.
Told his tale. And I will tell you. I remember pieces. Memories of the
Based off of Mary Shelley's novel from 1818, Frankenstein tells the story of a man who is obsessed with power, a raging narcissist, and a god complex. So he wants to create the perfect monster. But there has to be some threshold that humans can't cross, right? We don't get to play God. Unfortunately, Frankenstein decides that he can. Now, if you are familiar with Frankenstein, this story is obviously, over 400 years old. So Guillermo Del Toro's take on it was really, really beautiful. I thought that he did a really fantastic job, which I'll kind of get into in a little bit. But Hollywood has done Frankenstein lots of different ways. And I have to say that I think that this might be one of the coolest takes. This one is a little bit more close to the book. Again, it's not going to be page for page, frame for frame. It can't work that way. But I think that this does a pretty good job with the forbidden romance between Elizabeth and the creature, the rage and the narcissism and the madness from Dr. Frankenstein. So yeah, I thought that it was a really, really great film. I think that it touched a lot on those themes too, like forbidden romance, torture, not necessarily just from medieval torture chamber point of view. Frankenstein really wanted to create something magical. He wanted to create something that was his, but more than that, he wanted to create life. A lot of this was inspired by the passing of Victor's mom, and then later the passing of Victor's dad. He was an aristocrat, and I think that it does a really good job of talking about that as well, because you can kind of see in the movie played by Oscar Isaac, Dr. Frankenstein has kind of always been interested in these things, but the more tragedy, the more torture and more torment that he's gone through in his life, it kind of drove him to it a bit. Now, one of the cool things too is the film is in basically three parts. It's the introduction, then it is from Dr. Frankenstein's point of view, and then from the creature's point of view. And Jacob Elordi as the creature did a really, really fantastic job. I'm not surprised. He's a budding new actor. He's done really great work so far already in his career. So I wasn't really all that surprised because I know he's so solid in his role. But he's just so tender, I feel like. And that's a lot of what people can miss about the creature. Number one, Frankenstein is like the doctor, okay? So Dr. Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein, right? And then his creature or his monster, right? So I thought he did a really great job. He was, again, tortured because he was created really out of madness. And again, Frankenstein had a God complex. He thought that he could, and more than just thinking that he could create life, he knew he could. And he really wanted to push the boundaries of natural order, things that we're not supposed to do. But unfortunately, the creature was the result of that and bore the brunt of all of that weight because he had never asked to be reanimated or anything like that. I think that Mia Goth, I generally enjoy her work, but I do feel that the chemistry here was just a little bit off. So Elizabeth yearns for the creature. She can't quite put her finger on it, but there's a wild factor to the creature that she relates to, even though she is betrothed to Wilhelm, who is Victor's brother. But I think that her performance did fall a little bit flat for me. I think the only other thing, the pacing was just a teeny bit off. But all in all, very good. I think it told a very good story. And I think that they were able to touch on the themes and the overall feelings to kind of help anybody who hadn't read the book kind of understand it a little bit. And also, again, like there's a certain teetering of torture and tenderness that I really, really liked about it. That makes it just a little bit different from other versions of Frankenstein on film. The cinematography was actually quite stunning. I thought that Guillermo did a really, really beautiful job. I think most of his films are visually stunning. Um, I think that just from the paleness of Frankenstein up against parts of the ice frozen snow. And then at the end of the movie, there's this beautiful sunset scene, and you just see him cloaked in that like black tattered garb, and you just see his face. And I thought that it was a really, really nice contrast. So everything was really intentional. Even when we start the film, we have a little flashback to Victor's mom, and within this grand castle, she wore bright, bright red as his father came back from voyage. So the playing around with the scenery and the colors, and speaking of red, especially with Red Death, I thought that was a beautiful addition to it as well. And so, yeah, all in all, I think it was a cool movie. I thought it was a really cool take. I thought it was very smart. It had a more modern feel to it. Um, don't mind the fire trucks in the background. Sorry, but all in all, a really great film. Really interesting. If you're able to see it in theaters, I actually recommend it because it was just kind of something about certain sounds. Um, some movies you can catch them on streaming if you catch them, but this one I think will be worth it. Um, all in all, a very, very good film. I'm actually going to reread the book because it just was that interesting to me. I've seen most versions of Frankenstein movies anyway, so I kind of have some basis for comparison there. But I kind of want to reread it and get reintroduced to it. I feel like when you get back into a book, especially like if there's a movie adaptation based off of a book, you can like find little nuggets after you reread them. So I want to do that as well. Other than that, I would say great film. Go see it if you can. I think that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. Yeah. Until next time. Thanks.
Let me out. Let me out of here. Get me the hell out of here. What's the matter with you people? I was joking! Don't you know a joke when you hear one? Jesus Christ, get me out of here! Open this goddamn door, I'll kick your rotten heads in! Mommy!